my mentor looked me in the face and he said, Hasib, how would you feel if you could do what you want, when you want, where you want, with whom you want, without any negative financial consequences? I said, great, but I mean, what's the catch, Travis? He said, there is no catch to it. Financial freedom. So what, I have to have the next biggest invention, the next greatest idea, be a millionaire, inherit money? Is that what financial freedom is? He said, I see, relax, don't be so negative. Financial freedom simply means that you have enough passive income to exceed your expenses. Virtually, it's possible for anybody. So, for example, if my expenses are $2,000 a month, and I own a 10-unit apartment complex that gives me a cash flow of $3,000 a month after I pay my debt and expenses, then that apartment complex is paying all my bills. I don't have to work at a job and trade my time in for money to pay my bills. My bills are covered because I've acquired an asset, which is an apartment complex. So I said, okay, well, I was kind of getting it. I visited him at his house last year, and I just saw him there working, and he has a nice house in North Carolina, and he makes a great living. I know he makes a lot of money. He doesn't brag at all. But I just saw him there in his house, and he's a hard worker, but he was just working on his laptop. I said, Travis, don't you have a job? Don't you have to go somewhere? How do you maintain this lifestyle if you're just at home on your laptop making calls, checking your emails? I mean, don't you have to do more than that to maintain the lifestyle that you live? He says, I work, Hasib. I work as hard as anyone else does, but I work differently. So you know what, Travis? What's your secret? He's like, you really want to know? I said, yeah. I said, okay. He said, step into my office. I'm going to teach you the fundamentals first. I said, okay. I said, Travis, I'm in. I'm going to soak everything you tell me like a sponge, okay? You got me hooked. So we go in his office. He says, first, you have to identify your greatest asset. What is your greatest asset? I said, I don't know, my car probably? I don't know, my house? No. He says, what is your greatest asset? That's what the bank calls an asset to protect their needs. But what is your greatest asset? I don't know, Travis. He's like, all right, the space between your two ears, that is your greatest asset. Your brain, your financial education, your knowledge that you have gained, that is your greatest asset. He said, I can lose all my wealth. I own several businesses. I own commercial properties, mobile home parks, different assets. I can lose that all overnight. Lose my wealth, but I can get that back, and it won't take me that long because I've gained the knowledge and the skills to be able to acquire these entities. He said, okay. So it's starting to come. And so he says, now you've identified your greatest asset. Now we got to go to the fundamentals. You got to know the difference between assets and liabilities. I said, okay. And what was unique about my mentor, Travis, is he was actually mentored by Robert Kiyosaki, who was author of the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And Robert Kiyosaki, a lot of the concepts he shared with Travis, and Travis has shared with me. So it's like I'm learning literally from Robert Kiyosaki. And some of the things I will be sharing tonight are concepts that he has taught. And one book I recommend everyone read is the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So when I was with my mentor, Travis, he told me, what are assets and what are liabilities? Assets are things that put money in your pocket. I said, okay. And so just do the math, everyone. So what are liabilities? They take money out of your pocket. Exactly. So that's it. Assets put money in, liabilities take money out. I said, okay. So, could you make that a little more clear for me? I said, okay. Well, look at the board. Right here, on this pad, I have a financial statement. And Travis was looking at his board in his office. He said, this is a financial statement. It's simple. You have your income statement and your balance sheet. That is what comprises a financial statement. He says, 97% of the American population, this is how they earn their income. So, 97% job. 97% of Americans have one source of income, which is their job. And they trade in their time for dollars. And once they have that income coming in, so they have income coming in, and they have expenses, and that pays for all their liabilities. And like I said, liabilities take money out of your pocket every month. So that's your house, all your bills, your clothes, your food, expenses, general expenses. Those are all considered liabilities. Now, for the masses of people in general, what do you see missing in a 97%er's financial statement? Can anyone volunteer? What's empty? What do you see empty?
Assets.
Exactly. Then it started coming clear. Okay, I see. Most people, the only way they make their money is through trading their time for money, getting paid by the hour. I say, I still make a lot of money, but this is how I build my wealth. I spend all my time acquiring assets. I said, oh. Then it started hitting home. I said, Hasib, there's only 4 asset classes. Okay, there's business, real estate, stock and paper assets, and commodities. Gold, oil, silver, precious metals. That's comprised of commodities and more. So let me write that down. So you have the B, stands for business, real estate, stock, and commodities. So those are the 4 major asset classes. He said, over the years, I've educated myself on how to build a business that gives me cash flow every month without me having to work there, and hire managers and create a system, and it pumps cash flow to pay off all my bills every month. Same thing with property and real estate. I've educated myself on how to invest properly. So he said, check this out. He says, let me show you, you checked out the financial statement of the 97%er. Now let me show you the financial statement of a 3%er. So 3%ers. Now for 3%ers, this is how the wealthy are wealthy. They spend their time acquiring assets. So they'll get a rental property. Let's say they get a 10-unit rental property. I have friends and my mentor, he owns businesses. So for example, let's say you own a Denny's. There you go. That's one you're adding in your asset column. You have a Subway. I'm showing small-scale stuff for all of us so we can see that it's attainable. You don't have to have the biggest things or have the biggest ideas, as long as you have enough income to exceed your expenses. So for some people, maybe they need $5,000 a month passive income to be financially free because their bills, they have kids, they have a family, a mortgage, so it requires them more. But I just want to show everyone that how possible it is. And there's a lot of people that have attained this. So you have the real estate, you have business, you have, he owns an oil mine that pumps up cash flow. He also owns a lot of stocks that give dividends and that provide cash flow every quarter. So all these entities, so he spent time acquiring assets, and all of these assets bring him income, which pay his bills. You see the difference in the way the wealthy work. So all these entities, they pay for all his bills. And what's different here is that he doesn't have to trade in his time to make that income. All he spent his time doing was finding the right deal, finding the right asset. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily easy, but he educated himself, got the right skills and education to be able to acquire those and know how to invest properly, know how to build a business, know how to buy a business, how to raise capital. So he spent his time working on these skills, and now it's paid off for him. And the biggest freedom, it's a sacrifice that he made. He says, listen, Hasib, I knew I had a sacrifice when I first started for 5 years. My parents weren't business owners. I wasn't born in wealth. I was just an average guy. Parents were middle class. I had a sacrifice for 5 years because you have to answer this question. What does freedom mean to you? He says, yeah, I could have sacrificed security and stayed somewhere where it's quote-unquote secure. And we all know in the modern economic age, the 4-40 rule, it's obsolete now, where you go to college, you work for the same company for 40 years, you're guaranteed a pension for life. Those days are gone. So he said, I knew that. So I said, I had to make my own security or my own freedom. So the biggest freedom, once you don't have to worry about money, then you're truly free. When you have a surplus of wealth or cash, you have time freedom. So you can use that time to pursue your dreams that you want, to pursue goals that you've been putting off because your time has been taken over by other things, or some people are working jobs that they don't like as a mere necessity to pay their bills. Now some people have jobs that they do like, that is fine, but at least it's great to be in a position where, you know what, if I quit my job or if I get laid off, I'm taken care of. I'm fine. I have a couple assets here, a couple properties here, a couple businesses, I'm okay. So it would be great to be in that position. Now, when we look at assets and liabilities, it's not impossible. It's not impossible to develop the education. There's mentors out there. There's classes you can take. There's plenty of resources that may not be available to the mainstream or to the masses promoted, because a lot of institutions are designed for you to be an employee. So there are resources out there such as SCORE, such as there's the Women's Business Association even here that teaches entrepreneurial skills for young women. There's SCORE gives you free mentorships if you're interested in business. But all I have to say is that this is very possible. And some people will say, okay, got it, Hasid. Just like I told my mentors, like, I got it, Travis. Okay, thanks for breaking it down. But come on. I mean, I don't have the money to buy a 10-unit apartment complex. You're already talking about. I don't have the money to buy a mobile home park. He said, no, there's no limits. You know what I used to overcome that fear? OPM. What's OPM? Other people's money. Whether it's a private financer, a bank is considered other people's money, lending institutions, that's all considered other people's money. And that is how the rich get wealthy. They borrow money, they find the right deal, find the right business, they borrow the capital, they use other people's money as leverage. I'll give you an example. I'm in the process of buying a five-unit mobile home in a park in Georgia. And I didn't have the capital to buy the unit, but the deal was so good, it cash flows so well to the numbers that I like. I have a good private investor of mine. I showed him the deal, he's going to fund the whole thing. So, we made an arrangement of what he's going to get, but there you go. I didn't have the capital to purchase those units, but that lack of capital, yeah, people say, well, you need money to buy these things. Well, yeah, it doesn't have to be your own money. And realistically, how fast can you use your own money to get wealthy? I mean, if I'm having an average salary, by the time I pay my bills, if I have taxes, I'm not even having enough in the bank to make a significant investment. So that is the only way to get wealthy, and that's how the wealthy are becoming wealthier. Guys like Donald Trump, he has lending, because he has a track record of doing proven deals in real estate. Lending institutions give him money. It's like, wow, we have all this money. Donald, we know you're a reliable source of giving us good deals and profitable investments. Here you go. Donald Trump doesn't use any of his own money to do his deals. You know how many sources of income he's developed throughout the past? I mean, he's been in business since he was in his 20s. He has 600 sources of income. So Donald Trump's asset column is 600. He has 600 things paying all his bills. So that's what I'm saying. You can use other people's money. It's funny. It's like the law of attraction. You put something out there. Don't have limiting beliefs. I'm looking to make an offer on a mobile home park this year. Okay, I'm analyzing several mobile home parks, and these range from 500,000 to $1 million to $2 million. These parks, it's an actual business, and but that did not deter me, because the lessons that Travis has taught me did not deter me, because I knew that if I find the right deal, the money will come. And just today, I talked to a guy. I can't give his name, but I'll just call him Steve for now. So I talked to Steve, and he said he has $1 million, and he's been lending money on real estate, but now he wants to save $1 million, and he wants to put something down on a mobile home park. I said, great, Steve. I was like, let's make money together. I have deals in front of me, and if it works out, what do you think? Are you open to looking at it? He's like, yeah, sure. It was that simple. That simple. There you go. If I find the right deal, I have a potential money source right there. $1 million. It's possible. So don't let your limiting beliefs deter you. And just remember that to build wealth, increase your financial education first. That's the first step. Then take a little bit of action, seek help from a coach or a mentor, and that's how you'll get there. So thank you.